Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, we are going to talk about Fairy Queen as an allegory. Allegory is some sort of reference, a comparison. Allegory means, in fact, when there are two stories running parallel, one thing is standing for something else. That's called allegorical. So, the Fairy Queen, first of all, we'll define what does this word allegory mean. Later we'll come towards this poem and we'll talk about it in details. So according to Martin Gray, in his Dictionary of Literary Terms, the simplest form of allegory consists of a story or situation written in such a way as to have two coherent meaning. Or allegory is a type of story which carries a second meaning along with the surface meaning. So there are two meanings at the same time. One is surface meaning, that is signifier. What does it taken in particularly apparently what's its meaning? And other important meaning is that for what that particular thing stands for. It is intended to convey something else. That is called allegory. So Spenser's Fairy Queen is an allegorical romance symbolizing the moral and spiritual journey of an individual through innumerable temptations of sins towards the ultimate attainment of glory and truth. So we can see the knight is there, the queen is there. The knight is basically an embodiment, an allegorical figure who stands for truth, who stands for good things, who stands for bravery. So these things, where knight does not stand just for a knight only, when he stands for certain other abstract things, abstract qualities, that is allegory. So the poem thus has a serious purpose behind its fanciful characters, settings, and events. So that's why we call it romance. But it has some sort of serious purpose behind it. Some message is there. In literature, we use the word didactic. Didactic means when there is some sort of moral lesson involved in it, that is called didactic one. So we can say allegory at level of characters, situations, terms. So first of all, we can see that there are certain major characters, certain important characters, and these characters stand for what? So all the characters in the Fairy Queen have allegorical significance since they represent abstract ideas and religio-political conflict of the age of its composition. So they are going to reveal their religious background, they are going to reveal their certain political backgrounds. They are not, we can say, simple character, they are round character, they are complex character. So complex characters means they have a lot of things to symbolize, lot of things to with their meanings associated with them. So, for instance, if we can see there, the title character, the Fairy Queen, is itself standing for Queen Elizabeth. The Red Cross Knight, who is appointed and approved by the Fairy Queen to assist Lady Yuna in releasing her parents from the prison of Dragon, is the embodiment of holiness, piety, and true religion. So Protestant thought is there. As I have told you, at that time there were two important sects, two important categories, two important followers: Catholics and Protestants. So in this, Protestants have been eulogized, they have been approved, they have been presented positively, and Catholics are not presented positively one. So her parents symbolize humanity held by the evil represented by foul dragon. The mission of holiness is to champion the cause of truth and regain the right of human race held by the subjection by the mighty force of evil. So evil, vice, and virtue, these have been allegorical terms. certain human characters are going to represent them. Certain characters are representing, just like dragon is representing foul things, evil things, and those things which are against humanity, against religion, against Protestant beliefs. And on the other hand, if we can see knight, they are holy character and they are standing for positivity. So religio-political allegory. So definitely two important things are important in every society. Even in current society, you can see we have religio and political allegory. So the fairy queen primarily embodies the religio political tension prevailing in the two schools of thought. So in the age of Spencer, for a Christian to be what you say he must have true faith. So holiness must be founded in truth, and in order to remain pure and immaculate in the world, as long as truth and holiness are united, no evildoer can defeat holiness. So this is how the message has been beautifully, clearly, explicitly um, given through allegorical form. So we can see over here the plot of the book 1 of the Fairy Queen. So Queen concerns the attempts of evildoers to separate Red Cross from Yuna to decrease his strength. Spencer here presented evil in the form of Roman Catholic Church and portrayed Protestantism uh, as true religion. The poet felt that in the English Reformation, the poet had defeated false religion. So according to them, false religion is Catholicism. So the knight must defeat villains who mimic the falsehood of the Roman Church. So, in the course of his mission, Red Cross and the eunuch came across various manifestations of evil. The first encounter is with monster error. The monster error allegorically stands for all sorts of mistakes which every individual makes in the course of his life. The flights of the Red Cross Knight and the monster error symbolizes a conflict between Protestantism and Catholicism. The books and papers vomited by errors allude to the offensive pamphlets directed against Queen Elizabeth by the Roman Catholics. So, next we can see moral or spiritual allegory. Spencer opines that truth and holiness must go hand in glove, which is the base of true religion. The Red Cross may be able to defeat these obvious and disgusting errors, but until he is united to the truth, he is totally lost and can be easily deceived. The deceit is arranged by Archimago, who symbolizes the hypocrisy of papacy. When truth and holiness are separated, hypocrisy gets the chance to mislead holiness. The separation of truth from holiness symbolizes the danger of the English Church against the hypocrisy and plots of the Roman Catholicism. So, this is what we can see in Book 1, especially moral or spiritual allegory has been presented in Fairy Queen. So, when holiness is separated from truth, it pulls a victim to falsehood. Red Cross may become able to defeat the strength of Sansfoy or faithlessness through his own native virtue, but he falls prey to the tricks of falsehood herself, Deusa. Deusa is also allegorical form, standing for negative things, temptations, false faith. So, Deusa also represents the Roman Church. Both she is a false faith and her rich purple and gold clothing, which for Spencer plays the greedy wealth and arrogant pomp of Rome. Historically, Deusa stands for Queen Mary, who was a Roman Catholic by faith. Having been separated from truth, the holiness becomes weak and feeble. He cannot withstand the fierce attack of falsehood and becomes a prey to Deusa. So, Red becomes a veritable puppet in the hands of Deusa. So, in the similar manner, truth also becomes weak, and in and it protects her virtue. She gets an succor from loin which stand for courage, but subsequently the hypocrisy of Archimago makes her an easy victim to Sandloy, who stands for lawlessness. She is later saved by Sir Styron, who is symbol of the natural force. The implication is very clear and concrete. Truth cannot be subjected to lawlessness for long. It has a natural force which would assuredly impel and it's reassert itself against all hindrances. So next, Glorinia is there. The humility symbolized by the dove informs truth about the sufferings of the holiness. Then truth goes in search of Glorinia, the fairy queen, and holiness is led to the palace of divine grace. By truth, there he recovers his former strength and becomes able to fight against the malignant forces of nature. Then, at the end, Spencer represents triumph of the holiness and truth. They may be separated by various evil doers, but ultimately they are united again to bring about the redemption and moral system of human race. Thus, in the allegory of the fairy queen, two worlds, the one that of the actual facts and the other that of the spiritual and moral conceptions, blend and fuse. Spencer designs an allegory which can be interpreted at two levels. On the historical level, it deals with religious and political events of Spencer's time, and on moral and spiritual level, it embodies the action and interaction of virtues of vices. So, thank you, students.